Some people view the Victorian era as one in which men dominated society, despite having a female monarch. Others call it a romantic era, although one that was a little rigid. Stay watching to find out more about the crazy rules Victorians had about dating, courtship, and marriage. Welcome to History Mysteries topic: what dating and courtship was like in the Victorian era. The reality is that courtship in the 19th century was a social activity in which love took on a bigger significance rather than merely seeking marriage for economic and social benefit. However, the Victorians had a set of rigid rules to abide by when looking for a companion. Here are a few odd dating advice items from the Victorian era. 1. Dating manuals. You may describe these instructions as a form of love self-help book. And these dating guides were very popular with young people who wanted to try dating but weren't sure how to act. One of the manuals contained some very peculiar recommendations, including 1. Look for ladies with big, rounded heads since they are likely to be highly sexed and full of pluck. 2. Steer clear of unions with fugitive families. Your connection will probably get strained when the cops show up because your loved one won't want to reveal their whereabouts. 3. A man should understand that sex is disgusting to women and not insult their virtue by using them as the football of his lust. 4. If your marriage fails, don't get a divorce. Instead, put on a brave front and endure the remainder of your life in miserable union. Yes, there are books today that provide relationship advice, but definitely very different from the aforementioned ones. 2. Women never made the first move. Even if Victoria was actually the one who proposed to Albert, she was the exception to this rule. Back then, a woman was judged if she decided to make the first move during courtship. Single women could only receive men at home if a chaperone, also known as a family member, was present in the same room, and they were not permitted to address males without an introduction. Can you picture going on a date with your crush while your mother is watching you? How awkward. Women should never try to pursue males because it is not merely ill-bred but actually inappropriate to do so. Noted in 1882 Etiquette and Fashion Treatise. I'm glad to hear that we're making an effort to do away with this negative dating observation. 3. Women had to come out. No, that is not the way that disclosing your sexuality is now understood. Instead, its Victorian definition refers to the requirement that women publicly disclose their intention to look for a partner. She needed her mother's express permission in order to attend social events. Therefore, if she didn't get it, she was prohibited from doing so. The young woman was required to come out to her family, but her parents were in charge of making the announcement to the general public. The latter was totally based on their social status and income. For instance, a wealthy family might have a number of parties, or a lower-class family might be more modest and let their daughter go to church or to dinners with them, since she can now engage with society, just so long as she's being supervised by a chaperone. 4. A woman waited to be in season. Is this a reference to the menstrual cycle? Thank God, no. However, it was an additional step that was difficult for women. Women had to wait until they were in season to begin their hunt for love after finally finishing the coming out procedure. The 4 months, April through July, of the year known as in season, are when upper-class families across the nation would send their teenage daughters to London. Once there, the higher classes would congregate at a number of balls and dances to meet and mingle with the incoming upper class. I admire Victorian women for their patience in waiting for a potential partner to be accepted by her family. 5. Introductions were a must. Men and women were not free to contact one another or to be as direct or open as they desired back then. Use catchy expressions to highlight their qualities? Without a doubt, they couldn't just walk up to someone they liked and strike up a conversation. For your introduction, you had to wait. Furthermore, higher-ranking individuals may not be approached without their express authorization. Imagine you're at a party when suddenly someone catches your eye. In order to introduce yourself, you must first determine if you are of a similar social standing, then look for the host to help with introductions. 6. Flirting with cards and fans. Young men and women sought dating advice to go further in their courting because of the tight rules set forth by courtship. The clandestine card was available to men. Instead of giving the young woman's chaperone the official dance card or calling card, a young man discreetly delivered her these forbidden letters. Why were they so bold? In addition to breaking the rules, a covert card also carried a message that was quite audacious. The hand fan was the preferred flirting tool for ladies. In fact, women were so clever that they developed an understandable hand fan language. There was a code. Closed hand fan meant the woman has no interest in the potential suitor. Hand fan half open meant she was friend zoning him. Hand fan fully opened meant she was completely smitten with the gentleman. Moving the fan fast meant she was an independent woman. Slow fanning meant she was engaged. Waving the fan in front of her face with a right hand was signaling a man to continue making advances. Fanning the left hand in front of the face indicated that the person should leave her alone. Continually opening and closing a hand fan while speaking meant kissing the girl. Swinging her hand fan while they talked meant she wants them to return home together. 7. Touching was not allowed. A Victorian couple could not even touch before getting hitched. For example, holding hands was not allowed. Physical touch was frowned upon for societal reasons. Sadly, a potential Victorian wife had to confirm that she was still a virgin, and a suitable Victorian man had to demonstrate that he would be a decent provider. Being aware that contact was a route to temptation, it was therefore best to avoid it. A few things were exempt, such as waltzing, but it had to follow the regulations. Naturally, these were established in manuals as well. 8. Gifting was strict. The Victorians established the proper gifts for a gentleman to give: flowers, a tasty treat, or a decent book. A lady couldn't give a present to a suitor before she had herself received one, meanwhile. But once she had one, it was okay for her to repay the favor by giving her love interest a gift, no matter how little, low cost, or handcrafted it might be. Nevertheless, a number of dating manuals advised women against receiving gifts from men. According to a book, The Young Lady's Friend, 1837, it says, accepting gifts from men is a dangerous thing. Some men conclude from your taking one gift that you will accept another, and think themselves encouraged by it to offer their hearts to you. Make it a general rule never to accept a present from a gentleman. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel, hit the bell button for easy notifications.